but he won't. I don't see him hiding anything else. So
Well,
I think he's still on the team. That's all I'm saying.
No, I mean Spencer's still on the team.
Yeah.
So,
Like I don't think there's an issue there.
well, not to ambush you, but I went ahead and started the show.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you caught the tail end of that conversation, we were just discussing whether or not Spencer was on the roster, which he is, but it was a question that was posed by a Texas fan. So obviously, where their mind should be on the boys from Stillwater, but they're still worried about us. Look, how many times can we bash your head in until you just get it? Leave us alone. We don't care. We don't. Stop acting like a bad ex. We don't like you anymore. We don't want you. Okay? Damn, Steven. Damn, Steven.
They want so bad that the OU is the only team where they can have this much of a what you want to call a QB controversy and still be 6-0, number 4. Like things are looking mighty smooth, and I just won a huge rivalry game. And
Steven texted me and said, Link is a dictator. I sent him a picture of like how the practice field is kind of like blocked off like black, black or whatever. And he's like, Link is a dictator around there. And he was like, he could have handled this like a grown-up and just went in there like Sarkisian did and just, hey, Hunter, you're not the starting quarterback anymore. Casey, you're up. I'm like, no, that's not the same issue, bro. Hudson Card's a bum. He'll be at SMU before you know it. The writing's on the wall. If for some ungodly reason they were to get what's that boy's name? Wait a minute, let me
Arch Manning.
I look like back in the 80s, you know what I'm saying? But anyways,
you talking about Archie Manning?
Yeah, they for some ungodly reason they're gonna get Arch Manning. They give you 2 5-stars that you're gonna get. You're gonna have Malik Murphy, Casey Thompson, and then Arch Manning, which I don't know how you feel, but from what I can conjure up, Malik Murphy is probably not going to play quarterback at Texas. That's just me, though. Okay?
Might be like a Roshan Johnson situation.
Yeah, might be a tight end by the end of the day. Because he swoops written all over him. But
they got a lot. They got their own things to worry about. And I know one thing: Lincoln doesn't have to do anything like Sark because Lincoln's proven that his method works. He gets championships. He goes to the playoffs. So like he's doing the thing.
The whole thing about it is this right here. I'm not going to knock any kid for their grind. I worked for the Okali at OSU. I know how it is. Everybody wants to get that one story that can do it. But one of the reasons why I didn't want to do sports reporting, one of the reasons why I especially didn't want to do investigative in journalism, it's too invasive. Like there's certain lines that like you just don't cross. And I mean, I'm not going to say it was foul play, but just to go to the lengths of let me go and get on top of another building with binoculars and like, what the hell, man? Like seriously. But hey, kids will be kids. They do what they do. So with that,
I was just gonna say they should have just said, "We got this from an anonymous source."
Yeah, just like, hey, I got a telescope, and all of a sudden it like just dropped down, something like that. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Horns Down podcast, and it's been a minute since we did our own show, just us solo dolo. We've been appearing all around YouTube, around the table sports. Shout out to my guy Ty Hayes. That guy is a real stand-up guy. Shout out to my guy Nino's Corner. Shout out to my guy Fanatic Perspective. It's been a lot of stuff happening. You got to follow us on Twitter. You see the handles right there. We're everywhere. But with that being said, Seth, what's up, man? How you feeling, bro?
Man, this is definitely the best I've felt all season long. I can definitely say that. I mean, I guess besides, before the season even started, but since it started, man, what a high these last several days have been. I mean, it's things, even though, the quarterback situation in the air, it's honestly a good situation to be in for OU. Yeah. And there's just no other way. Yeah, like people want to try to make it look like there's some kind of problem, but No, it's a good problem, if anything. So I'm feeling good. I don't know about you though.
So yeah, I'm cool. I'm chill with it. Yeah. So let's go ahead. Let's jump right into a recap. Seth, run me through it. How you feeling, man?
Oh man, for as low as I felt, I feel 10 times as high. After that first quarter, I was feeling pretty low, but with what happened after with that comeback, oh my goodness! And I think I can safely say now I've had some days to process it, and I've watched the highlights. I've watched a condensed version of the game. It's definitely the best Red River game, and it might be my favorite OU game I've watched. Just period. Like just with who the opponent was, how that happened, how I know how much it's hurt Texas fans, how much it hurts Texas fans, how that game went. It's just like everything was so perfect. Like the only thing that I can feel like could be higher than this would be winning like an actual national championship. And me like, well, I didn't watch the 2000 version of it. I wasn't into football back when I was like 8 years old, but yeah, but man, that so just yeah, I mean there's really and I want to give the defense some props, especially up front and those rushing, because yeah, they got blitzed in the first quarter. There was a lot of things going on, and it wasn't on them necessarily in the first quarter. That 28 points, it definitely wasn't all on them, but what they showed me in the last three quarters, and especially the second half, how they completely shut down Robinson. How they just completely blitz and overwhelmed that Texas O line. I mean, that's the defense that if they're playing anywhere close to that level the rest of the way, and I know the offense is going to take a step forward now. I just don't see another L. I think the only not on the schedule as it currently constructed. So, not to get too far off, I want to stick to the game, of course. So yeah, what about your thoughts?
Well, I was just gonna say, let me go ahead. We've gloated. We've had time to celebrate the win. Let's get technical. Let's be a little bit critical.
Yeah,
tackling's got to improve. Got to improve the tackling. Got to improve in tackling. On the back end, the corners, the safeties. Second half, fine. You did what you needed to do, but you were getting pressure and everything. Obviously, you were finishing. Defensive line, the one only takeaway from them is, hey, you got to finish. You guys are getting there, but you guys got to finish. Secondary wise, hey, better tackling, better communication out there, just to know if they're going to do scissor routes, if those guys are going to try to do like something tricky or whatnot. Look, I will say this. They're getting better at the slants. They're getting better at covering the slants, seeing that, picking it up, reading those plays when they're going to happen or whatnot when they're trying to pick up easy yardage. They're getting better on that. But tackling in space and then also just being alert whenever they're running plays like that. I'm not going to call that scheme a trick, but like I've said time and time again, I see now why Alabama was so successful running that. Not because not just before the fact that they had first rounders and damn near every wide receiver position. You know what I'm saying? Like the X, Y, whatever. Hell, they had, first rounders at everywhere all over the field.
The backups are going to be first rounders.
It's misdirection, not in the run game. It's misdirection in the passing game. You got two crossing routes going this way, and then you got probably the fastest guy coming underneath for what looks like possibly a drag or like probably a short post that's turning into another crossing route. So it's kind of giving him an option of feel and see how the defense is playing you, and that way you play off of that, and then you bump here, you bump there. So it's kind of one of those things where it's a really interesting concept that you have to account for. So defensively, like I said, you got to communicate. You go outside, I'll go inside. It's not rocket science. That guy may be faster than you, but at the same time, if you're able to just switch, you're fine. You stay in the right position. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's something that I definitely want to see. Offensively, man, I mean, the elephant in the room, it's Spencer and Caleb right now. We'll get to that in a second. But I was just saying, offensively, we got to come out with some more. We got to come out with more juices flowing. We got to get that adrenaline going now. I mean, it just kind of seemed Texas was up for this.
Yeah.
We didn't seem to be. We didn't look like we had woke up. It sounded like we had got off the bus. But obviously, you make adjustments. But man, can't have those untimely turnovers. Can't turn it over and on your own 40-yard line. You can't do that. Can't give them good possession. Special teams got to be better. Got to make sure we don't have any more block punts, things like that. There's a lot to love about this game. There's a lot to take away and say, hey, we still got to get better. We're still not where we want to be. So I think that's something that we need to definitely address and just say, like, hey, secondary wise, special teams wise, defensive line wise, there's still a lot more room for improvement. Don't get satisfied. That was a great game. That was a great win, historic game, all of that. I'm not taking that away, but I just feel like we're close. We're close.
Yeah.
We're close. And let me clarify. I'm not saying we're close to being elite. We're close to being the team that we want to see week in and week out. So we're progressing towards that. And I think now you're about to see OU's best football. And I think that's ahead of them.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. And it's kind of been, now we're 6 games. We're halfway through the regular season. And it's kind of been I guess the theme or the name of the game for OU is that they're winning these games, but there's a lot there for them to, they have it on tape now to see what to improve on, what to work on. And so that's definitely, there's a plus to that for sure. But yeah, you want to start seeing a little, as we start getting towards the end of the regular season, you want to start seeing some of these mistakes start to get a little minimized, and just see less and less of it. And I think, yeah, obviously the starts, OU got to come out. OU has to come out fast, has to come out strong in a game like that. Fortunately, they were able to rally, but yeah, that's going to happen once every 50 years. That's in a game like that. That's not going to happen often, so they can't do that again. Not against a quality opponent for sure. But
that wasn't a quality opponent. That was just Texas. It's nobody.
It's still an Alamo Bowl team.
Yeah, exactly. Detroit City Music Bowl.
Yeah. One thing I want to give a little shout out. I can't find the tweet exactly, but I want to give a little shout out to Eric Swinson, who I know a lot of people, and us included, have talked about. How it just seems like there's sometimes some better options than Eric Swinson out there. But from what I saw, that he actually had a pretty good performance, and he was actually splitting duty, I think, at, was it left tackle and right guard or so? It was something weird like that. Like he was playing 2 positions throughout the game. And I mean, and he did fairly well, especially in the second half. There was I saw a lot of shots where the pocket was relatively clean, giving Caleb some time back there. And then whenever he had the time, but if things finally started to break down, obviously he showed his escapability. And then obviously a big shout out, like everybody's, if they're not talking about the quarterback play, people are talking about Kennedy Brooks. Cause I mean, that dude,
yeah.
And it's like, it's still weird. Cause even after this game is probably his best game of his career, his OU career, it still feels like he's so underrated. I think that's just going to stick with him forever just because of his style, just because he's not flashy. But man, I mean, I don't know how many times he has to prove it. You just give him the rock, he's going to produce. He's like, he's one of the most consistent backs I feel like I've ever watched. Like it doesn't matter what O-line he's running behind, he's going to get yards if you just give him touches. And I mean, he proved it, and he was looking strong. He was getting stronger as the game went on. Obviously, that was part of it was Texas defense getting gassed. But man, I mean, he just has a motor that doesn't stop, and I'm so glad for him now that the backfield's going to has gotten a little bit deeper now, so we don't have to rely on him so much, because Eric Gray had a pretty good showing. He had a couple runs where there he looked like he could have broke free and got some ankle tackles, but he still did the thing. Marcus Major, we know he's coming back, like he's going to be in the fold down the stretch. We got a lot. Jeremiah Hall's getting a couple carries a game. Still got Weatherman Jay, Todd Hudson, all those guys. So there's lots to like about the backfield. But leading the way, I think Kennedy Brooks, he's proven he's definitely the leader of that group, and we're going to need him.
It's definitely great to know that Marcus Majors has been on the scout team running that all year, because
Yeah,
it's exactly what Ramondre did. So
exactly.
yeah, and we're not going to say that Marcus Majors is a world beater, but we will say that he's a quality back that adds depth to our backfield, which helps us out.
Yeah,
Now, instead of having a two-headed monster that you're trying to make sure that you're aware that you stay aware of their carries, the total amount of their carries. Now you have an expendable back that you're saying, okay, he's right there in between both of them. So let's try to
yeah.
feed him. Let's make sure that he's good.
And he's got big game experience too, because he
Yeah,
was in last year's Texas game. He played
yeah,
in Florida, so yeah, he
yeah,
definitely not shy from the lights.
yeah, exactly. So that gives you another weapon back there with Jeremiah Hall, and especially in short yardage situations too, another guy. So definitely hope that we get to see him, maybe possibly even this weekend, maybe get a carry or two.
Yeah, that'd be really nice.
Another big takeaway from that game is just the fact that, man, we're down three defensive starters. Jalen Redmond's not there. Woody Washington hasn't been there. And for better or for worse, Credell is not there right now. So you're looking and saying, like, man, we get those guys back, we'll be even better.
Yeah,
And I heard somebody on the radio, they went against what Lincoln said. Lincoln said we're going to get those guys back. But I know one of the guys on the radio today was saying that from what he's heard different things about Woody, that it may be a season ending injury, which I haven't got any inclination. Seeing him at the game, he looked perfectly fine.
yeah,
They all did. None of them looked like they were, outside of Isaiah Cole, he was in a walking boot. But hell, I don't know what the injury report, if you've heard anything about him this week, but I think you're going to get everybody back progressively. I think pretty much if I'm OU, I'm saying, okay, hey, get me to the bye week, and then that's whenever you start seeing a lot of those guys start popping back up.
yep. That's my thinking as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like even though the bye week is coming so late, OU's going to be 9 games deep into the season, but by the time they get to it, it almost feels like with the kind of injuries that they've got right now, it looks like that bye week is kind of placed right where it needs to be, because right before that last little stretch, you got Iowa State and Oklahoma State on the other side of that, and I guess Baylor as well.
Baylor is right. You come out of the bye week at Baylor, which I think is great.
Yeah, and
to be honest with you, I would be more worried about that game than I would be about going to Stillwater.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm definitely, I just have, and it's not even like a cocky thing with me and Bedlam. It's just OU just doesn't, like, Stillwater's just not an intimidating place.
No,
obviously. So
once that crowd, you take that crowd out of the game, they're done.
Yeah, they're not breathing, and then nobody is afraid of Spencer Sanders. So come on now, like until he shows me that he's a different player, he's still Sanders. So yeah, and that's obviously looking ahead. But I think it might be time to really go in on this QB talk.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Yeah. I'll start it off. So
so
there's 2 quarterbacks, guys. Okay, all right. There's Spencer Rattler, and there is Caleb Williams. And so everybody around the nation, including Sooner Nation, wants Caleb Williams. Okay. I remember my girlfriend and I, we went to Walmart, and this one of the greeters at the door, she walked up to me because I had my OU gear on. And I swear this lady's seen me 3 billion times, and she knows I'm an attorney. But she walked up to me and she said, hey. And I said, yes, ma'am. She said, when you go back to school, tell Lincoln I said, thanks for putting Caleb in. On behalf of every Walmart employee, we want to thank Lincoln. And I was like, what? I'll do that. Look, what it boils down to, all jokes aside, man, look, Spencer Rattler is my boy. And I think the world of Spencer. I think Spencer's amazing. People, chill with all the extracurricular stuff. Y'all don't have to like him. Y'all don't know him. That's the thing that really, it pisses me off about some people. is the fact that they want to sit here and call somebody cocky, mean, arrogant, all these different things. And they've never had a 5-minute conversation with the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've heard rumblings. I've heard a lot of stuff about Spencer. But I can't go off of stuff that people say when I know that these are the same type of people that if Spencer Rattler came and sat down and actually talked to them, they would go back and tell everybody that he's the greatest person they've ever met. And they met him, they got an autograph, and they got to take a picture with him, and they got to do this, and they got to do that. I'm just like, he's a 21-year-old kid that people are tripping on right now. And it's cool, deservingly so. Okay. His play has not matched the attitude that you guys say that he has, the ego and all of that. So I get that. But relax with all the extracurricular stuff, man. I'm like, at the end of the day, all these Monday morning quarterbacks and all these, old heads out here talking about what they would do and all the rest of this stuff. Like, man, you don't even know that kid. And what if that was your kid? What if that was your son? How would you handle that? But with that said, Spencer has to start handling this stuff better. He has not handled it well at all. Taking shots at some of the fan base and different things like that. I don't know what you saw, because I talked to my uncle about it and I said, Uncle, I don't know what you saw, but when I was there at the game, I wasn't really paying attention to how he was feeling. Hell, I was giving them my all, screaming, trying to get them to let's pump this thing up. But when I watched like some of the recasts, and then I watched the like Mr. McIntosh version and stuff, I see now what people were talking about with his mannerisms and stuff as soon as Caleb made plays. But I was just going to be real with you, Seth. Do I think that Saturday night when OU rolls out, do I think Caleb is the starting quarterback? I'm going to go on a limb and say no. I think Spencer is still starting on Saturday. And I'll turn it over to you to give us your synopsis of your whole summary.
Yeah. So it's neat that we both got different vantage points of far as like what happened on Saturday. I mean, I know you've watched the game now on like how it was broadcast, but you were there at the game live, and so I just watched it on TV as it happened. And my uncle, one of my uncles was over at my parents' house watching the game with us, and he made a good point. It was like probably midway through the fourth quarter, so things were going crazy and everything. But he made the good point that they really didn't show, like, since it was like pretty much since the whole second half, they didn't really show Spencer like on the sideline at all, wherever he was during it. Like I remember like thinking back in 2015 when Baker was at Tennessee, and that whole offense and everything was struggling for 3 quarters. They showed Trevor Knight on the sideline because he was the backup. They showed Trevor Knight like 100 times, like after the end of every offensive play. They were showing Trevor Knight like, oh, is Lincoln or I guess Bob Stoops says Bob Stoops going to put Trevor Knight in? Is they going to bench this second-time starter Baker Mayfield, this walk-on, and all that? And then obviously Baker did what he did. They came back and made history, but I did think it was weird that they weren't showing Spencer at all. Like, because I mean, they were definitely talking about it. They were talking about how Williams was balling, making plays, and how different the offense looked compared to what it was under Spencer. But yeah, so it's like I didn't know if he was like, I mean, like even if he was sitting down on the bench and not standing up in front, they would have shown they could show anybody anywhere on the field with all.
There was definitely some cutaways that where they showed him. And I will say, I mean, it wasn't like Spencer was hiding; he was standing right there by Lincoln.
Right? Yeah. And then I did think it was great that he was able to come in on that 2-point conversion. Yeah. And clearly he showed that he was still dialed in. If he had already checked out, that play probably wouldn't happen the way it did. He probably wouldn't execute. But he was sharp on it. He ran it to perfection, everything. So that was good. But yeah, and I mean, I know you've seen it. We all seen the video from after the game when there's the whole team is on the field celebrating, and then Spencer's being escorted with somebody, with one of the team guys, walking down the tunnel by himself, and like it's just kind of like, and I mean, I know he was at midfield because right after the game when they're all meeting and greeting in the middle of the field, Spencer was in that. I think he shook hands with Casey Thompson or something. He met some Texas players, but I guess right after that moment, he just took off, and people were kind of have been showing that. Yeah, they've been showing that video, and I mean, it's like like you said, like I've never had a conversation with the kid and everything, but I'm right there with you. Like Spencer is my dude. Like I've gone back and forth with a bunch of OU fans, especially this last month or so, with defending him, because I mean, like that's my guy too. Like I love Spencer. I want him to stay with this program. I would love for him to, if he does start like you predict he will this weekend, I would love for him to ball out. I'd love for him to throw for 350, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, all that. Even though I also want the same success for Caleb, and I'm glad that he did what he did. I don't feel any confliction in that way, but it's just at this point, if I were to predict what I think will happen on Saturday, after been thinking about it more, I think Caleb's going to get the start, but I do think they both will play probably roughly equally the same amount. I don't know if it's going to be a first half for one and second half for the other, but I think we'll see just back and forth. And I know Lincoln's on record on saying he doesn't like having a two QB system like that, but at this point, I just feel like I think he's in a really rough spot, or a really just kind of difficult spot where he's going to have to he might have to make a choice like that.
So, and I hope everybody gets the vibe, gets the theme that we're going at with this right here. We don't care about the whole attitude and their personas and all the rest of this stuff. All we care about is the W's.
Straight up.
Can you produce on the field? And I'll be honest with you. I looked at one of my best friends was at the game, and I said, "Hey, Hooks," I was like, "Bro, look, I love Spencer, but I can't take up for this. I can't do that. That's a bad interception. That's a bad fumble. Like I can't take up for that anymore. You've had the weirdest luck with having these untimely turnovers that have put our defense in a terrible position. They get the ball back for you. You're down 14-7. You're moving the ball, and then you throw a pick. Like, what are we doing?"
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where it's like, when we're bad, we're really bad. And so I think it's a testament to our defense. I think put it like this. For as much crap as people have given OU this year about not being able to score these points and the offense not doing this and all the rest of that, it's like they overlook the defense, and they're still talking bad about the defense. They're overlooking the defense. If OU was scoring 40 points right now, a game, 40 plus, and they're holding Nebraska to 16 points, they're holding West Virginia to 13 points, they're holding K-State, honestly, to probably 24 points, and they're winning 37-24. If you're able to do stuff like that, nobody's talking about your defense. People are probably saying your defense is one of the best in the country.
Yeah, they wouldn't have fell like they did in the polls, that's for sure.
Yeah. So you're looking at it and saying it's not a defensive problem, it's an offensive problem. And so people are just being critical of OU because they don't look like they do in the past, which I'm sitting here saying, okay, fast forward to the Texas game. Why did OU score 55 points? Why? Yes, I will say this. Caleb was the key to that game. He was the X factor to that game. But if you look at it, Texas came in there and said, nope, we're gonna run what we want to run. We're not gonna run that whole West Virginia and Nebraska scheme. We're gonna run what we want to run. So you're looking at OU, and you're saying, like, hey man, it's just crazy to me. Like the narrative, there's so many narratives around this team this year, and it's hard for some people to call them a good team. It's harder for some people to call them an elite team. They're really in between. And One point they could be a really good team. One point they look elite out there. There's different drives and different stretches where you're just like, that's what we want to see. That's typical of this offense. But I digress with that. But to the main point, though, what I would say is just, man, I think that at some point this season, you're going to have to probably turn it over to Caleb because Spencer just doesn't have that mojo right now. He doesn't have that. He's not in a groove. And so you got to go with the quarterback who's going to give you the best chance to have the entire offense in a groove, and that's Caleb. Because I don't want to see Caleb come out here and do 30 quarterback runs and all the rest of that stuff and break plays. I still want to see him pass the ball and be able to sit in the pocket and pick apart a defense. But at the same time, you're looking at Spencer and saying, man, you're not mobile. And it's not that you're not mobile. It's just the fact that you don't make yourself mobile. You're too indecisive. You got to get that sharpness back about you, that decisive stuff. Put some zip on that ball. Let's go. You know, in that game right there, you pointed out the Drake Stoops pass. It seemed like I thought it was behind him. Then you got the Mike Woods pass where I'm like, damn, you sailed that ball. He's wide open right there. It's a lot to go and break down and say, Spencer, this is not you. We need you to start playing and hitting. They're going to continue to play the soft zone against you and tell you to pick apart. And our GT counter hasn't really been there all year. I think that is going to improve. I think this offensive line finally found some type of groove or some type of chemistry that they can work off of. These past 2 games have been really good for the running game. But when I'm riding with Spencer until they tell me not to.
Yeah. Same here. Yeah, and then if Caleb does get the nod and he's the dude, just in permanently, or at least for the foreseeable future, I'm gonna ride with him too. Because like you said, all we really care about at the end of the day is the W, and like which guy gives the team the best chance to get it, which guy gives the team the best chance of producing on the field, and not just putting the defense in a bad spot routinely. So. Yeah, that's all we really care about at the end of the day.
Yeah, just winning, just win, man. Keep us in a good position going into championship November, man. That's all you want. But I just think it's hard to sit here and not say that Caleb isn't the answer. And a lot of people are like, well, we haven't seen him in stressful situations and this and that. I don't think you will.
Yeah.
I don't think you will, because he's closer to, and I hope people understand what I'm saying here. He's closer to Kyler than what he is to Jalen, because as it stands today, I don't care that Jalen's in the NFL. If you want to say NFL Jalen or even OU Jalen versus Caleb right now, he's way better than him. I'm not going to say he's faster or he's a better athlete, but I'm just going to say all around, overall, what you're wanting, better passer, from what it seems like, a better passer. And he's, they're both intentional with their runs, but I haven't, besides the ball snaps that they need to clean up, he needs to stop taking his eye off the ball. But other than that, you're looking at it and saying, man, he's closer to what Kyler is than what Jalen could have been. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's going to be able to make dynamic plays, and he's going to be able to keep plays alive with his feet. And the fact that you say going forward, you have Caleb take over the reins, you're able to go back on film and say, hey, so you need to start feeling the defense. They're 6 yards away, they're 7 yards away. Pick that up. Pick that up with your feet. We don't need you rushing for 20 yards. We need you doing all that. That's great if you can. Pick it up. You get what I'm saying? But it's just that extra element that he adds that you have to prepare for, which is his feet and that he's mobile. And I know I sound like I'm rambling right now, but I'm literally trying in my head, like I'm trying to figure out every way possible to keep Spencer in it. But I don't know. I don't see how he overcomes this. I really don't. And the sad thing is, I mean, the fact of the matter is that I hope he stays for this year, because I think it only hurts him if he leaves.
Yeah, I think it would really take his draft stock would take a severe hit if he left anywhere. So yeah, I think he needs to stay this year. And honestly, I don't even know what would be better for him. I don't know if it would be better for him to just try to go to the draft after this year, if he stays and after this year, or if he should transfer and then try to, have at least one solid season somewhere else. Because I mean, he's still got like 2 or 3 years left of eligibility. But he's definitely eligible after this year. But it's just, I don't even know what the best decision for him is, other than staying this year, and then after that, I have really no idea.
I've said it time and time again. Look, let me break down this whole little spiel. You got the Chris Leak and Tim Tebow system, which Lincoln is not going to do that.
No.
You got the Kelly Bryant and Trevor Lawrence system, which everybody thinks that is what's going to happen. Then you also have the Tua and Jalen situation, which is that's how Spencer should take this. Humble yourself, chill out, get all the reps. You never know. You might get an opportunity to be that guy again for OU. If you want to transfer at the end of the season, do that. But it only hurts you if you do that. But that's my point last night as well. Answer is where I disagree with Nino on Fanatic Perspective. For you guys who haven't seen that live cast, check that out. But I do see a lot of the Mahomes path for Spencer. Spencer's still a hell of a talent. And he's only going to get better with better players around him. Especially if he gets a solid offensive line, Spencer will do work in the NFL as well. He has an NFL arm right now as is. So that's why I'm saying, why can't Spencer be that 4th round steal that people are looking at like, hey, wait a minute. This is a guy who, if he gets an opportunity, goes to the right situation, he can cause some noise. I don't see why that couldn't be him. And to Nino's point, Nick was talking about, oh, well, people feared Patrick Mahomes. It's just he didn't have any weapons around him. No, nobody. Look, Patrick Mahomes was a turnover waiting to happen. He may go out there and throw 5 picks, but 5 touchdowns, but he was going to throw at least 2 or 3 interceptions. There was a chance that he may throw that during that game.
Yeah, he was a pure gunslinger.
Huh?
I was just saying he was a pure gunslinger.
Yeah, he was a pure gunslinger. And I mean, it's Texas Tech. They're notoriously known for having high octane offenses. Nobody is going to deny that. But when you look at his trajectory that he took, what happened to Patrick Mahomes? It wasn't just that, Patrick Mahomes is just the greatest thing to ever hit the planet. But when you go to an offense where you have an offensive genius like gosh.
Was that Eric?
No, not Eric Bieniemy, but
Cliff Kingsbury.
No. For the Chiefs.
Oh, Andy Reid.
Yeah, when you go there, Andy Reid is an offensive guru.
Yeah,
come on, man. It's basically McNabb on steroids. Yeah, I mean that's what it is. And then Bieniemy being an offensive mind that he's shown himself to be. Come on, man. Right situation. That's all it takes in the NFL. That's why you see so many undrafted players become high dollar earners in the NFL, because it's the right situation. So I don't see why Spencer Rattler couldn't take that route. He has routes open to him, but the best route is just to gather himself, take whatever's going to happen this year in stride, and go from there. And if he transfers, he transfers. Like I said, Notre Dame, Oregon. There's going to be a lot of nice teams out there that are going to want Spencer Rattler, and who are going to be like, I think especially being a West Coast kid, he can go anywhere in the West Coast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He would, and I think he would do well in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, look, like, imagine him at a place like Oregon or something. Like, I feel like a really stable kind of foundation that Mario Cristobal has got up there. They could really, work with a guy like him. So if he were to transfer,
Here's another team, Stanford. Why not Stanford?
That's
David Shaw. When David Shaw has a quarterback, David Shaw causes hell for everybody.
Yeah.
Let's just be real. I wouldn't go up there and fool with USC because they still don't know what the hell they doing, obviously.
No.
But you look at programs like that on the West Coast and you say it's a no-brainer. Stanford, Oregon. I think those are the two teams that you would seriously look at. You're not going to go to a team like Arizona and say, yeah, I'm out to ball out there. No. Arizona State seems to have the guy that they want, but I would say, I would say that place, I wouldn't go out there messing with UCLA either. I definitely would not do that. ACC, hell, why not? Go to Clemson.
Oh, my goodness.
He ain't playing no better. He's not playing any better than Spencer Rattler is. It's just But
he would have got benched a lot earlier if he was at OU.
But yeah, exactly.
Like earlier in the season.
I just don't see any other scenario except for that one playing out. But look, trust me, I would not be shocked if Caleb Williams was a starter on Saturday, which is trending towards, because you just don't I don't care what Raleigh said as far as, hey, I gave him the day off. You don't take days off like that. No.
Nah.
Sunday was your day off. Monday we practice.
Right.
So whatever that's about. And you're looking at Caleb and like he's had 2 full days of first team reps. I don't know what's going on, but I don't know. I can see, but it's Lincoln Riley though. I can literally see Lincoln come out there and have both of them in the backfield the first play of the game.
And then direct snap to Kennedy Brooks.
Yeah, just to fool with people. Yeah, it'd be a direct snap. Have them two lined up as a 2 running back sets that Lincoln loves to run, and then have Kennedy take the direct snap. I can see it happening.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But so I say Spencer, you say Caleb.
Yep.
Until next time, my friend, we'll see that. Let's go ahead and roll over not K-State, but TCU preview.
Yeah. So I mean, just by the numbers, looking at TCU on defense, especially, man, it's been rough for them on defense, especially against the run. I saw that they're ranked 116th against and giving up rushing yards per game, which is that is. I think the only Kansas is like 127, so they're like in that territory, which obviously you never want to be. And then also, even I think the thing that shocked me even most is sacks. They're just for some reason, maybe it's just been bad luck or whatever. I think they've got 6 total sacks in 5 games. They're like 117th, I think, in sacks. So it's been really bad. The up front, I guess, whether it's getting pressure, actually capitalizing on the pressure and finishing, or just stopping the run. It's just been a chore for Gary Patterson's Horned Frogs up front there. And against the pass, they've been okay, I guess. I mean, like compared to the run game, definitely. But it's just that I think that's where OU's going to find the most success is on the ground, and at least they're going to be able to set up some things in the passing game if they take advantage of that. And it looked like they might have found something on the ground, obviously in the Cotton Bowl when they went over 330, and just looked like everything just kind of started opening up. So that's how I'm looking. But otherwise, like, I'm not afraid of Max Duggan. This is going to be is this the 3rd time OU's faced him?
Seems like the 30th as many years as he's been there.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously the star player on their side, Zach Evans, he's finally looking like the guy he was recruited to be, which he'll definitely present. But I mean, after what I saw OU do to Bijan, especially in the second half, at least, I know they're going to be able to scheme up some things for sure. Focus on Zach Evans, and I'll be surprised if he has as good of a game as Bijan did against OU.
Yeah, I would say offensively, TCU offensively, watch the jet screens, the little jet screen passes, watch the little gadget type plays or whatnot. No busted coverages. I think definitely with Max Duggan. Max Duggan is another one of those quarterbacks going to come out there and probably throw a lot of slant routes. Not really too worried about deep balls, but just play sound defense, man. Get to the quarterback. Biggest thing is that defensively, for TCU, you can't let them gain confidence. That's one thing. Last year was pretty surprising. Like, you came out there and just really hit them in the mouth,
Yeah.
and there was nothing that TCU could do about it. Um, the deep ball was there, the crossing routes was there, the little orbit route was there.
Yeah.
You had success at every level that you wanted against TCU last year.
Yeah.
So why not this year as well? Don't come out there and make this a game. Don't let it be a game. They're going to definitely try to grind the ball out, and they're going to definitely try to run um, Zach Evans, which is great. That's cool. We have a great run D, but it's just one of those things where defensively for them, you can't let them gain confidence. You let a Gary Patterson defense gain confidence. That's what happened 2 years ago in Jalen's year. They just started blowing them out, and then all of a sudden they just started gaining confidence. They were like, Gary Patterson got in a rhythm, and it was like it's like he was sitting inside the huddle with Lincoln and saying, "Oh, you're gonna run that? Okay, hey guys, come here." So I mean,
yeah.
And don't get me wrong. By that time, the offense was really just a one-man show, because it was like, all right, is Jalen going to run it? Is he going to run it, or is he going to pass it? So you didn't know kind of what was going on. So we're obviously more balanced this year with either quarterback out there, but defensively, you can't put them in a position, because regardless of how bad they are numbers wise, you still know there's going to be one or two of those kids that are going to pop into that first round, second round, and they're going to be graded really highly at the next level. So you want to make sure that you come out there and you do what you need to do, which is to put a foot in their butt from the get go. So, like I said, whether it's and offensively, man, get everybody's juices flowing, man. Get them some passes, get them out there in space, get them some deep balls, man. It's there. It's there. It's there. We just, I mean, like I said, regardless of the quarterback, we just need to come out there and handle our business. Run the ball, pass when it's there, get all the rest of that stuff, and let's go. I mean, because the pass is gonna be there. I would say defensively for us, we gotta make sure that, like, they do have some capable wide receivers. These are some of probably the biggest receivers I've seen for TCU in a long time. They have some pretty big guys that can actually move. So definitely want to make sure that you're good out there with that. Have you heard anything as far as any injury updates as far as who's gonna be in this game? Is Isaiah Cole gonna be back? We got Credell or anybody coming back?
I haven't heard anybody mentioned as like coming back this week. All I heard is like the guys that we've talked about before, like Woody Washington, Jalen Redmond, Theo Weiss, that Lincoln Riley said that they'll be back this year, but I'm probably not going to expect any of those guys to be back. Maybe I don't know about Cole, but yeah, like I said though, none of them have been confirmed. Oh, yeah, he I think he'll be in this, because I mean, did he finish? I think he finished. No. Yeah, he didn't finish the game against Texas.
No, he played one snap and that was it.
Oh man, so yeah, I haven't heard an update on that. I mean, honestly, at this point, they might as well just rest him if really, because like they're gonna need him later for sure. So
I don't think Max Duggan is one to try to challenge you. And as far as athletic as they try to describe him, he's not that great in space. But it's not, Max Duggan doesn't try to challenge you vertically. He will if it's there, if he feels like it's there. Max Duggan wants to nickel and dime it down the field, get him a good rhythm, then he'll start taking shots. He's not one to really try to take shots, But I think there's enough film to kind of see what they're trying to do on both sides of the ball, and you should be extremely successful against them if you do what you need to do. Coming off this Texas game, man, my score prediction, man, I'm not going to go in the 50s. I'm not even going to go in the 40s. I'm going to go. I'm going to go 30 37-15.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was
Pretty close.
33-10 last year.
Yeah. You're real close to my score as far as OU. I got this one 38. I'll say 38-17. I think they'll
That
find
sounds
some.
about right. That sounds about right. You
So
know, I think that the only other thing that I would say has to be better, our second unit.
yeah.
Our second unit on defense. When you're in there, we got to get stops. We started to get people. They're starting to get people off the field, but that's got to carry over. Got to carry over. Yes, got to carry over. Is there anything else you got on that preview?
Nah. I think that pretty much covers TCU. I think we kind of know a pretty good sense of what we're up against, So it's at this point, it's just executing, just playing OU, playing its game, and should be all right.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into it. We got the college pick'em, Big 12 games first. All right, BYU at Baylor.
Yeah, it's an interesting little midseason non-conference game.
Yeah.
Baylor or BYU just suffered their first loss, so I don't know how they'll respond, but I'm gonna go Baylor.
All right, I'm gonna go Baylor as well. You got Texas Tech at Kansas.
Somebody got a butter knife.
Bum fight.
Bum fight.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen. Let's bum fight. Throw a butter knife out there, boy. I got Texas Tech winning by 10.
Yeah, I don't know about the spread, like as far as what I got Texas Tech winning by, but I just can't pick Kansas the rest of the season. I don't think they got another one in them. So,
all right. Next game, Battle for the Plains. Iowa State at K-State. This got to be on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, it's got ESPN Plus written all over it. I don't know if it really is or not, but it certainly does. Either that or like FS1 or something, FS2, whatever.
Weird.
But yeah, this is gonna be an interesting one. I think, man, this one's kind of trying to trip me up a little bit. I think I'm probably gonna go with Iowa State though.
Yeah.
I think they might be kind of rounding into form a little bit, so I'm gonna go with them.
I'm glad you said that. This is a type of game right here that kind of galvanizes them in a way that kind of like puts them on a platform. They always suck at the beginning, and then mid-season they start becoming a juggernaut that people have to pay attention to. So I'm going Iowa State, and give me Iowa State by a touchdown.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. All right, let's zoom through these games right here. You got UCF at Cincinnati.
Cincy.
I got UCF.
Oh, upset.
Michigan State at Indiana.
Michigan State.
Yeah, Michigan State. Auburn at Arkansas.
Man. Give me Arkansas.
Yeah, give me Arkansas. Big. Bo Pigs.
Yeah. Bo Pigs.
Florida at LSU.
Man, once upon a time, this was like the game of the SEC, but not this year. Oh, man. I don't want to, but I'm going to go Florida.
Yeah, you got to go Florida. Come on, man.
Yeah.
All right. Texas A&M at Missouri.
Just because I'm going to go Missouri, just because I feel like they're going to be all they're doing is celebrating this week, old A&M. So give me Missouri.
Oh yeah, look, Calzada's not going to have that type of game again, and I'm sure I bet you anything that this Texas A&M at Missouri game is an 11 a.m. game. 11 a.m. 11 a.m. or night games are hard to play in Columbus. So, all right, Missouri.
Yeah.
All right, Alabama at Mississippi State.
Man, I feel like the old Pirate is going to give them trouble. But I got Alabama.
Yeah, man. My uncle said it best. I feel sorry for whoever coming out of the woodshed to come and play them because they're gonna get put right back there. Alabama gonna be pissed. So yeah, I got Bama. All right, big games of the week. Big games of the week. Let's tackle the Big 12 game.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State at Texas. Who you got and why?
Man, I have gone back and forth. I picked both teams as I thought about this, but I think ultimately, I think Mike Gundy's he's gonna have something for old Steve Sarkisian. I think he likes, for some reason, especially over his last like 7 or 8 years, he's really liked going to Austin. For some reason, it just seems like his teams really play solid there. So, and they're, I mean, obviously they're the last remaining undefeated team in the Big 12 outside of Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. So, I'm gonna say that they stay that way after their trip to Austin. So, give me the Pokes by a field goal.
Lee Corso rant right now.
Okay.
I talked to my aunt, and my aunt said, "Hey, nephew, Oklahoma State can mimic what Arkansas did. They can mimic what we did. They have a mobile quarterback. So what does Texas struggle? What does Texas struggle with this year? The run game and mobile quarterbacks.
Yep.
Not so fast, my friend. I got Texas exposing that terrible OSU defense. OSU tweeted out today from their Twitter account, and they said, "So you still not buying our defense?" Look, even if I had enough money to buy everybody on your defense, I still wouldn't do that. That y'all are terrible. Y'all do this every year where y'all give all these OSU fans false hope, and then y'all meet OU and Texas and Iowa State, and y'all play like complete crap. And as long as Spencer Sanders is still throwing the ball, I don't have enough money to bet on y'all defense. I'm sorry. That boy throwing 3 picks against Baylor. Baylor?
In Stillwater too, right? Wasn't that?
Hey, yeah. Well, you said what? Yeah, in Stillwater, exactly.
Yeah, he did that.
Somebody on the paddle, the paddle team, they must have been paddling the wrong way for him to. He must have got confused on his own call. I'm like, Jesus, man, you ain't even like, who you throwing it to, bro? Like, it's 3 people over there. I'm like, y'all, this is the wrong. Y'all messing with the wrong Spencer. Why would y'all messing with the wrong Spencer?
Right.
But yeah, I got Texas horns down. I have them winning by like say 10.
Okay. I think we're the favorite by like 5.5, something like that. So
yeah,
should be a pretty good game either way.
Then we got Kentucky at Georgia. Who you got and why?
It's the only matchup this weekend of 2 undefeated teams. So a lot of people are definitely going to be watching this one. Obviously, Georgia's the new #1 team now. Man, as much as I really want to see Mark Stoops and all them Wildcat fans and everything just celebrating after this, Georgia's the real deal to me. I think that defense is just something else. Jordan Davis, he's the dude's going to be a top 3, maybe even the #1 overall pick if he keeps it up. But like, just depending on who's up there. But yeah, Georgia. I got Georgia, and I'll take Georgia by maybe like 14. I think it'll be somewhat competitive, like throughout, but they're gonna have a convincing win for sure.
So this quarterback, I don't know who the quarterback for Kentucky is. But he's gonna have to have that like Calzada type of performance because I have a feeling that Kentucky will struggle and they're gonna struggle with not being one-dimensional because they don't have the weapons to really try to go in there and beat. And they're at Georgia, so they don't really have the weapons to go in there and beat them. They may have the scheme, but they don't have the weapons. But he's gonna have to be automatic. He's gonna have to pick up every blitz, and their run game is gonna have to be stellar. They're gonna have to have a pulse on both sides in every level of the game. So you can't go out there and let them jump up to a big time lead, and you got to neutralize some of those backs. They like to run a lot of backs at you and keep everybody fresh. Big thing is, if it's me, hell, I'll load the box and I may bracket one. This is like a cover 1 type game to me. Hell, it may even be a cover 2 type game, but here's my point. JT Daniels isn't running out there. Make Stetson Bennett look like the Stetson Bennett that lost his job last year.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's rocket science, man. I really don't. Neutralize the run game and make those receivers. They don't have like a top tier receiver. They got a really good freshman tight end. And I think Darnell Washington is back, but I'm not going to go out here and say, oh, their wide receiver core is just amazing. They're running some great plays and they're burning people, but at the same time, I mean, still, you get what I'm saying. I just make Stetson Bennett average again. Just put that on but yeah, no, I got Georgia winning. I got Georgia winning probably about 3 touchdowns. Honestly, go from there.
Yeah.
But anyways, if there ain't nothing more that you got to say, then go ahead, plug yourself, Seth.
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at Seth Oliveris. You can see it right there. Yeah. And then also I do the previews and a lot of the recaps for the football games that you and I are all watching over at crimsonandcreammachine.com. So check it out there as well.
Yeah. And you can find me at Chris with a K. It's right there. Yes, that's how you spell it. Yes, I am a Texas hater. I hate all things Texas. Steven, if you're watching this, I hate you because you're a Texas fan. Nino, shout out to my boy Nino. You know what I'm saying? He's more realistic. This dude really had the nerve to say, oh, you're just going to lose 1 or 2 more games or 1 or 2 games. So it's like, to who?
Yeah, name them.
It's like he talks about how I hate Texas so much, but he forgets that when either team moves past this game and is undefeated, it's usually some really good things that happen afterwards. Like scraping by, doing all the rest of that, I get it. But to be 6-0 at this point in the season, that's beautiful. And to put ourselves in a possible situation where we could be the 2 seed, in the playoffs, or even a 3. And I'm not dodging anybody, but the fact is that hey, if we're gonna play chess, if they're gonna play checkers, let's play chess. Y'all go play at Georgia first. We'll play Bama. Hell, we'll play Georgia first if y'all want us to. It don't matter to us. We'll play anybody, but hey, what happens? What goes to your mind whenever it comes out? Georgia has to play Alabama because they're the 1-4, and then OU has to play Cincy or Iowa. Boy, that's wet dreams over here, boy.
Oh,
I'm sitting here like now, of course, Ritter and this Iowa quarterback would come out and probably torch us, and it would be one of them games where it'd be like 45-47, something like that we'd have to end up winning the game. But at the same time, we would get there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's chess. Why not play chess when they play checkers? You know. But you can find me at Chris with a K. Find him at Seth Oliveris. We are the Horns Down Podcast. So with that being said, Seth, we are out of here.